on my way now. I'm on my way now. I'm on my way now.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here in Greece. If you happen to be new around here, my name is Trevor. This is Anna. We are the Delightful Travelers. If you're not new, it's nice to see all you guys again. Today we're going to be talking about the cost of living here in Greece.
Yeah, we've been here for a little bit of time now, a few weeks to a month, maybe more than a month actually, now that I think about it, a month and a half. So we've got together a little bit of information that'll hopefully be helpful to you if you're planning on either living here or coming here for a little period of time and want to know how much it's going to cost.
Quick disclaimer, we do not live here full time and we're not buying a house. We just wanted to say that because sometimes we do get questions, but because we've been here for quite a while, we hope this video can help you out.
So let's start off with the biggest cost that you're going to have, which is an apartment rental. We're not going to talk about hotels here because we're not staying in a hotel. And if you're coming for a long term and we're talking about cost of living, you're probably not going to be in a hotel. However, we are sort of staying in like a short-term accommodation.
It's a cross between like sort of a hotel, but sort of an apartment. They call them pensions here. I mean, we've been in other countries and they labeled them that as well. So because of that, what we're paying is a little higher, but we do have some amenities that have come along with that price. Like we have a pool here.
You get daily cleanings.
Yeah, there's daily cleanings. We don't need that, but it's great. And we're right in town, so lots of perks there. Now, what are we paying?
So we ended up spending 1,500 euros a month for that, which some people are going to think is really, really high, but we think we're getting a lot out of it, especially the pool.
Yeah.
And also just a disclaimer for anyone that's watching this, we're here in the month of October. So we're at the end of the season, getting into like from shoulder season, I guess, to low season. So don't expect to pay that in, say, July or August.
No. In low season, it's great that we have the pool basically because it is a little cooler if you're on the beach. There's not too many people on the beach like sunbathing, but because we have the pool and we're sheltered from the wind because it's windy around here, we're actually using it almost every single day.
Yeah, even on the little slightly cooler days, it's really nice.
Now we did have friends that were also here, and we know their place. They had a pension without a pool, and it was about 25 euro or something like that, maybe 25 pounds. I forget exactly what they paid, what currency it was in, but there you go. So just if you take out one of those things.
And that was a studio apartment.
That was a studio.
We also did a little bit of research. Before we booked this place, we had some other places in mind. There was another apartment we almost booked that was a basement apartment, but it was beautiful inside. It didn't look like a basement, like it seemed to have big windows and everything. And I think it was about 700 or 800 euros for the night. So it would have been significantly cheaper, but no pool. So if you are wondering about long-term rentals, we're obviously not doing that, but it will be significantly less if you're renting for 6 months, a year, that kind of thing. I tried to look online to find some prices for you. Did come up with some stuff. I found an apartment that was like, the cheapest one I found I think was a 1-bedroom and it was 450 euros, but not in the town.
You found an expensive one too.
But then I found a studio that was I think right in the main part of town, and it was 1,200 for a studio for 1 month, but it was beautiful inside. But then you can also find a house out of town for like 800 or so. So it really seems to be how new it is, how modern, if it's furnished, where it's located, seems to be all over the place.
Yeah, there's lots of options. Like for being an island, there's a lot of different options in different places that you can rent or stay at. Next up on the list is electricity. Now, one of the perks with where we're staying is our electricity is included, which is nice because there's air conditioning as well, but that's not always the case. We did talk to a local here and tried to get a little bit of the lowdown on how it works.
Yeah, but just to clarify that a little bit, I think if you're renting something very short term, you're probably not going to be paying for your utilities, but if you're paying for a longer term, it may not be included in your rental price. So the guy we talked to, he said he has a 2-bedroom apartment. It's about 55 square meters, and he said prices of electricity have gone up significantly in the past little while because of the price of gas and oil and everything. So I think he said it was 70 euros a month.
70 euro a month. So that's quite a bit. I'd be curious if he has an air conditioner. We didn't ask him that, or if that's what's making the cost be so high. But yeah, that's on par with what we would pay in Canada where we're from. But again, it depends on the size of the unit you have. If you have an apartment or a small condo, you're going to pay less. If you have a big house or villa, you're going to pay more. I mean, that's like that everywhere. So hope you find that helpful.
So next up, a utility that you, again, probably wouldn't have to pay for if you're doing a short-term rental, but water. Again, we talked to some local people, and they said they pay about 30 euros a month for an apartment.
The next category we're going to talk about is internet and cable TV. We'll kind of put them together here. So surprisingly, the speeds are very fast, which is great for us when it comes to internet. You get about 100 megabits down and 10 megabits up, and the price seems to be about $20 to $30. I think it can range per month, or euros, right? Euros.
And cable, about the same thing. I don't know if you can get it, but like at home in Canada, we can get stuff bundled together. I don't know if they do that kind of thing here, but separately, cable seems to be about 20 to 25 euros per month.
Next up on the list is restaurants. If you're coming to Greece, it's a safe bet that you're going to be eating at some delicious restaurants, eating all of the Greek food. It's one of our favorite things to do here. Now, surprisingly, it's not very expensive, although it can be. There's different styles of restaurants and here. Now, right now, when I say here, we should preface this. We're in Naxos, Greece. We're not speaking for the absolute entire country, but I imagine some other areas of Greece are very similar to the setup here.
Yeah, and I would say food at restaurants in Greece in general isn't super cheap. We're not talking about Southeast Asia here.
No.
But it's also not crazy expensive either. You can eat out for a pretty good price.
Yeah, we also noticed that the portions are massive. Like everywhere we eat, we usually split a meal. So just to get into some prices there, if we're splitting, let's say, a Slovaki dish, it's probably or moussaka, something like that. It's probably hovering between like 9 to 15 euro, depending where you're going, but we split that. So that saves us a lot of money. Also, then you get into some of the Greek wine. So if you like wine like we do, you can get the Greek local wine for like €4.
4 to 5 euro for a half liter. It's lovely. So we end up, I'd say in general, spending anywhere from 20 to 35 to eat dinner out.
Yeah, so that's pretty good when you think about it, because you can easily spend a lot more in, where we're from in Canada. I'll just compare it to that. Now, there is some high-end restaurants here that are kind of trendy, let's call it that, and you can spend a whole lot more. Like we did eat at a burger place. It was delicious food, but each burger was hovered, I think, around 15 euro to, I don't know if it was 20, but around 18. So you can see that can add up quickly. They also didn't have the local Greek wine that we know and love.
Yeah, I think they had like €7 per glass for a glass of wine. So that gets a little bit more pricey. Yep. However, if you want to eat out very cheaply, you could go get a euro wrap for like 3 to 4 euros.
It's a great lunchtime food. I just wouldn't eat them every single day.
While we're on the topic of food, let's talk about grocery prices, because if you're coming to stay here for a while, chances are you're going to be grocery shopping. We went to a supermarket the other day and got some prices for you on some of the basics. Obviously, this is not everything, but we just thought we'd go for like some of the things that most people would be buying. A loaf of bread, just the basic, like not from the bakery, but just, like a loaf of bread, would seem to be somewhere between like 130 and 2 to 250, probably depending on the quality. Eggs, it was about 2 for a half dozen, and like that went up again from there, so starting at 2. Milk was 180 for 1 liter. And pasta, one of the smaller bags was about 150, and of course it goes up from there when you get bigger and more high quality. And rice, some of the smaller bags were under €1, and of course, again, as you get into bigger and better quality stuff, it gets more expensive from there.
Next, we'll talk about meat, and this one was hard for us to get a price on because there's like an official butcher, and then everything was written in Greek. We could see some prices and some of the shots you're seeing now, but we just didn't know if it was like per kilogram or per pound. So the best we can tell you is we did pay about €10 for 2 enormous chicken breasts one day. So that should probably give you somewhat of an idea, but by all means, if there's any Greeks watching, please chime in. You might have seen the prices on the screen and you'll be able to tell us if that was like kilograms. It just didn't have the measurements, so we weren't quite sure. Some other things to note here. So wine is just under €10 for a 3-liter box.
If you're okay with boxes of wine, you can get boxes here for under €10, so that's really good.
Yeah, but you can obviously get bottles of wine too, and they can range anywhere. I mean, I've seen some prices like €2, which is like the really local stuff, and it can go way higher, of course, because there's fancy wine in Greece as well. Beer, we all like our beer, well at least we do anyway. It's about 90 cents for a regular can and €1.30 for a large can. So that's a good
Not
price.
bad at all.
If you want a 6-pack of beer, it's about €4.95. So again, not too bad.
Next up on the list is travel insurance, something you should never travel without. We typically use a company called Safety Wing. It's a great one for digital nomads, which is what we are, but also great just for regular travelers as well, because you can do long term and you can do short term.
Yeah.
And I think it's like 30 or 40 a month. That would be US dollars.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's just done through a website. We'll leave a link for it if you guys are interested and you want to check it out. But we use it. We've been using it for years, and we definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
By the way, this is not sponsored at all. They have sponsored us in the past. We just wanted to throw that out there, but we're just big fans of them. Next up, we're going to talk about phone plans. So we all need data when we travel. Specifically, that's all we ever get. I don't know about you guys, but we just stick with data. We have been using eSIMs now, which has just changed the game for us entirely.
It has. I think you have to be really careful with eSIMs about the fact that sometimes in certain countries, the eSIM can be the data can be way more expensive than if you went and got an actual SIM card in the country.
Yeah.
But if you're only paying like maybe 5 or 10 extra euros or dollars or whatever,
It can be worth it.
It might be worth it just to save on the hassle.
So we're paying €25 for 10 gigs a month. Now I'm sure you can get a better deal like we just said, although that's not bad. It's still a lot cheaper than our good old Canadian SIM plans.
I did try to find out how much an actual phone plan is here, and it's hard to find online, so I'm not so sure. Cosmo, I know a few years ago we bought a plan through them, but that was 4-ish years ago, and I think it was around 20 euros for 10 gigs, something like that. I don't know. It's probably a lot better now, but they need to be better about putting stuff on their website.
Again, if any Greeks are watching, please let us know in the comments below what you guys pay for mobile plans, and because others are gonna find it helpful. Next up on the list is transportation. Now, probably the most cost-effective way to get around is the local bus. So the bus goes to different places here on the island. Most times it's a little under €2 and you can get to a lot of places. So that's the best way to get around. That's the affordable way.
Yeah, so I think it's a little less than €2 for the local beaches. So places we've been to in other videos and probably go to in future videos. And but then I think when you get farther away to like the more remote towns, it gets a little bit more expensive. Also, of course, you can get rental cars in the summer. I don't know the prices. Going back, we're here in shoulder season. We can just walk out and get a car anytime we want because there's not that many tourists here. And right now it's about €30 per the day.
Yeah, €30 per the day for like a basic small car. Now, if you want something a little fancier with the top down, you're going to pay more. But I think we got some prices like 40 or 50. So there you go. You can also rent quad bikes as well. They're sometimes the same price as cars, so it just kind of depends. But just so you know, there's lots of different ways to get around the island. Next up in the final category is gas. You're gonna need some gas to get around when you're renting your cars, and we are filming this towards the end of October, and the price that we saw on all the gas stations here at the moment is about €2.22 for a liter.
Yeah, not cheap, but who knows where the price of gas will go from here. So by the time you're watching this, it could be way cheaper, it could be way more expensive.
Yeah, I'd be curious again if there's Greeks watching, like what was the price a year ago or even 2 years ago? Because we do know gas is going up everywhere in the world. It seems like all costs of everything, just the cost of living is going up everywhere in the world. But let us know if the prices really shot up a lot.
So if we missed anything, or if you feel like we were way off with this price, please leave a comment below and help other people out, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to be coming and watching this video just to get some help on figuring out prices of things. So do correct us.
Yeah, we've done a few videos like this before, and we're always going to miss a category. There's probably something really obvious that we missed, and I'm sure you'll let us know. But if there is, especially if there's Greeks watching, just put some costs down below, because it really helps others out. That's why we make the videos in the first place. So if you got this far in the video, once again, it's Trevor and Anna, delightful travelers. Most of the time we're outside doing things. Today we thought we'd switch it up and just sit down and talk about costs.
But we do have lots of previous Greek videos that we were out doing lots of fun stuff, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more videos coming up.
There definitely is going to be a lot of fun things. We got some big plans here, and we appreciate all you guys watching. And if you could help us out, just hit the like button. It goes a long way for us. Heck, share the video. We already said leave a comment about a dozen times now. We appreciate each and every one of you guys watching, and an extra thanks to all of our patrons and our channel members. You guys are the ones that really help keep us on the road.
All right, guys, that's it.
From Naxos, Greece, wishing you delightful travels.
See you soon.
Oh,